Every year, when green onions are cheap, I always buy a big bunch like this to use over time. But if you store them like this in the fridge, they spoil very quickly. Just because I stored them the wrong way, there was a time I had to throw away a whole big bunch of green onions. It was honestly such a waste. After trying many times, I kept the 3 simplest methods that are easy to do and very convenient to use in the kitchen. Today, I'll share each step with you. Let's do it together. First, I prepare a bowl of clean water. Add 1 tablespoon of salt, then add 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Stir gently until everything dissolves evenly. Many people skip this step, but for me, it's very important. I place the whole bunch of green onions into the bowl like this. Let them soak for about 5 to 7 minutes. The baking soda helps loosen dirt and any pesticide residue on the surface, so doing this makes me feel more at ease. After soaking, I rinse the green onions again with clean water. Rinse gently so they don't get bruised. Once rinsed, I place them in a colander to drain well. Dry green onions are much safer to store. When they're dry, I cut them the way I usually cook. You can cut them into segments for stir fries, or finely chop them like this to sprinkle over finished dishes. Preparing them in advance like this saves a lot of time, so when cooking, you can just take them out and use them right away. Once chopped, I put all the green onions into this clean glass jar. I don't fill it all the way. I always leave about 2 to 3 centimeters of space at the top so the onions can breathe. Now I pour in olive oil until the onions are fully covered. This oil layer limits contact with air, so the green onions stay green, soft, and fresh for many days without drying out or losing their aroma. What I love most about this method is how convenient it is. Just 1 small jar can be used for many dishes, saving prep time and making cooking quicker and easier. After using, simply close the lid tightly and return it to the fridge. For me, this is a very effective way to store green onions. Prepare once, use for many days. However, if you prefer using green onions in their natural fresh form, or want them pre-portioned into small amounts, I usually use this method as well. I place the chopped green onions into an ice cube tray, dividing them evenly into each compartment, and remember not to pack them in too tightly. Then I add just enough water to each section like this. Now they go straight into the freezer. Freezing them directly like this helps them freeze quickly, so most of the aroma is well preserved. Once the green onions are fully frozen, I take them out and transfer the cubes into a zip-top freezer bag. Each cube is already perfectly portioned. On busy days or when I want to cook a quick, simple meal, I just take 1 cube and drop it straight into the pot, no need to thaw. The onions melt gradually, releasing a gentle aroma, just enough to make the dish taste better. Green onions frozen this way keep very well for a long time. Using them over a month is no problem at all, and they can even last 4 to 6 months without any noticeable loss in flavor. And if you only want to keep green onions fresh and whole, not chopped and not frozen, there's another method I often use, so you can always have fresh green onions ready for almost a month. First, I prepare a food storage container. Line the bottom with a layer of paper towel. I place the green onions into the container. Handle them gently, no need to press them down. Then I cover them with a thin layer of paper towel like this. Add another layer of green onions, and continue layering green onions and paper towels until finished. The paper towels absorb excess moisture, so the green onions don't stay wet or soften at the base. This helps them stay fresh without drying out or wilting too quickly. Once everything is arranged, I close the lid and place the container in the fridge. Each time I cook, the green onions are still fresh and green, and always ready to use for everyday meals. For me, this method is quick and effortless. It works especially well when you don't have a large amount of green onions, but still want to keep them fresh for about a month. Because I've had to throw away too many green onions in the past, whenever they're cheap, I always use this method. Just prepare once, and you'll have green onions ready to use for a long time. I've already chopped the green onions like this, so it's convenient to make a full batch and store it for later. Now I spread them out in a very thin layer in the air fryer basket. Making sure they're evenly spread like this. Then I start drying them at 90 degrees Celsius. After about 10 minutes, I open the air fryer and gently stir them once, so they dry more evenly. After stirring, I continue drying for another 3 to 5 minutes. Not longer than that, or they can burn easily. All right, I turn off the air fryer and take them out. Wow, the green onions are very dry, and the color is still a beautiful green. I let them cool completely before storing. Once cooled, when you gently squeeze them, they feel dry, light, and crispy. At this point, I transfer all the dried green onions into a clean glass jar. I'm always a bit careful here, because if you store them while they're still warm, the moisture trapped inside the jar can make them spoil faster. Having a jar of dried green onions like this in the kitchen is incredibly convenient. Just sprinkle a little over scrambled eggs, roasted potatoes, and the dish instantly becomes much more aromatic. For me, this is the most economical method whenever green onions are cheap. Prepare once, and you'll always have green onions ready to use in the kitchen all year round. Convenient and completely waste-free. Besides the methods above, there's one more way I use. So every time I open the fridge, I have fresh green onions ready to chop and use, staying fresh for many days without wilting. I trim off any wilted outer leaves, keeping the base with the roots. I place the roots into a glass cup. I add just enough water to cover the roots. About 1 to 2 centimeters is perfect. For the leafy part on top, I loosely cover it with a zip-top bag. I don't seal it completely. I leave a small opening for airflow. This helps the leaves stay moist without trapping air, so they don't get soggy or rot. Now the whole cup goes into the fridge. I like this method because the green onions stay fresh and healthy. The roots continue to absorb water, so they don't dry out, and the leaves remain green, crisp, and fresh. This way, green onions can stay fresh for another week, or even longer. Every time I open the fridge and see a cup of bright green onions, almost like they were just bought. It's honestly so convenient. No need to run to the market again, and no worry about running out of green onions for everyday cooking. With just a few small changes, since then, my kitchen has never had to throw away green onions anymore. So whenever green onions are cheap, I just prepare them once like this, and there's always green onions ready to use in the kitchen. Depending on how busy or relaxed I am, I simply choose the method that fits best. Quick options, fresh options, long-term options, These small habits help me save a lot of money, time, and even extra trips to the store. Most importantly, there's no more feeling of waste when buying green onions in larger amounts. Among the methods I just shared, which one feels the most convenient for you? If you have any good tips for keeping green onions fresh longer, please share them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you in the next Kitchen Tips with Annie Tips.